Hi guys, Druid here with a new video. In this video, you see me on my Warlock on Project Epoch, and the reason is that I've made a poll basically asking for people to choose with me my second main. And like people say alt, but for me like a second main really exists. Like I do like to play multiple characters at the same time. And that just is how I play World of Warcraft, or how I consume World of Warcraft pretty much. Um, that's a new quest. Lore Speaker. Find a Brill. Okay. So decided to make Warlock, but also made a Druid. So we will have 3 mains, which is a lot. But I'm going to explain why. Now the Druid is like still, I'm on the fence. I don't know if I really want to do that. Truth is, like, if I go back to the post I have made, which is the second post I have made, which is on Project Epoch, I want to create an alt, second main to be honest. I'd like your opinion. Druid won by 35%, and then it was a Warlock 26%, and then Rogue 22%. And so mage being like very low is like a given. I think a lot of people are like not really looking forward to mage gameplay for some reason. I think it's normal because mage is like very current on anniversary, so in Classic Plus you maybe are not like inclined to do so. Truth is about Druid is I mained Druid throughout the ages on Classic, on Retail, on Classic Retail, which is like back in the day, 2005, 2006, 2007. I played Druid throughout the ages pretty much. So for me, it's like nothing new, which that's the only thing. Like it doesn't matter if it's a Classic Plus or not. I have seen everything from Druid. There is nothing that can actually surprise me, except like custom spells. Though I really love playing Druid. Like it's not like I don't like Druid, else I would not be playing Druid on every single occasion I have. Even in Classic Anniversary, I did roll a Druid as a third character, got it level 60, and kind of like parked it for TBC pretty much. That was like the objective back then. Right now TBC not as sexy anymore because Classic Plus is just like really the thing I want to play. But like I think I still am going to play TBC once it's coming out. But I don't know if I'm going to main it if they don't change anything from what I want it to be changed. Which again, I'm not everyone. But do I want to play Druid on this server? I know that like Feral is very fun because you do have Mangle, you have like the changes, you have Cyclone, you're still very good at flag carrying. You can flag carry as a Resto or you can flag carry as a Feral. That's still an option. You have Live Bloom, you have Cyclone, you have Feral weapon attack on every single at least green item. I don't know if it's the same for like white items, but I know green rare or epic items do get that little like AP bonus towards your feral forms, or your cat form, your bear form, even moonkin form. So that's interesting. I also love the fact that the MCP is unique, so you don't farm it like continuously for just raids. You have it just once and then you delete it after the raid, and you can like parse, I would say you can like perform on 3 bosses or on 1 boss, depending on duration of the fight. So you don't really go for MCP farms. I love that Wolf's Head is like combined with Führer, so you don't need to have Wolf's Head, so you can actually have a headpiece without like being able to be penalized if you want to do like power shifting, which I kind of like the gameplay of power shifting. So that's something I enjoy doing when I'm playing Classic. But I didn't like the fact that I'm like pigeonholed into like wearing a level 40 like headpiece. And that's like something that also doesn't change in TBC. You will still wear that in TBC, but they decided to change it on this server, which is like a big plus for me. and there is like Feral, but like obviously you also have Resto, which I find very fun, and you have some versatility between the specs. Because you can play Restokin, you can play Dream State, or you can play, for example, Deep Resto, or you can play like Till Swiftment or a bit further, and then you can go Feral Charge, and you can go, for example, Insect Swarm. Like you have multitude of ways you can build. Oh, I'm going to die here. Well, luckily I'm not doing hardcore. This is far. Rip. That's me not being like paying attention, pretty much. Having no mana, no pet. But yeah, that's interesting. Then you have Bounce Rate, which is like TPC Bounce Rate. Take it as you want. I think in PvP it can be fun, but it's not really meta, especially if you're like thinking about arenas. But in BGs, it's always going to be interesting or like capable to do like Starfire crits because you're not going to be the target every single time. I just don't like the Moonkim form. Like that's very clunky. I don't like the big like frame. I wish there was like the Astral form. I don't know if they're going to add it one day. If they do add it, it becomes a bit more interesting for me to play it. But there is that. Obviously, you also have some like different builds that you can play. You can play like Restokin as a Bounce Druid, which is still like Bounce Druid, or like it's the same as Resto Druid, but a bit more offensive. So that is also very interesting. But then, like, I decided, like, okay, the community chose Druid, but realistically, I want to play Warlock because, first and foremost, I'm a Warlock main on different versions of the game, so retail as well. But also, like, back in the day, I played Warlock. In Miss Pandaria, I played Warlock as well. Cataclysm as well, Wrath as well. So that's, like, a class that I always played. So for me, it is, like, a comfy pick. I did see everything I wanted to see, but Warlock is, like, one of the classes where I am not really bored of playing. Well, Druid could be, because it's very, very recent that I've played Druid. Like, Classic Anniversary is not that far away from me. While Warlock, didn't play Classic Anniversary Warlock. So that's something, like, you can keep in mind. That's the first part. I do like Warlock. I made Warlock back in the day, right now as well. Even on retail, when I'm playing retail, though right now retail is a bit like behind my back until like they fix the few things I wanted to be fixed. But I'd say that if you are, I would say, hesitating about Warlock because people are complaining about Warlock being like weak, I am a strong believer of Warlocks being very strong in every single bracket. Like, I'm not even kidding. Even at 10-19, I think Warlock is very strong. For different reasons, because I think people are like saying DPS and they think they need to be able to burst someone down or else they're useless. That's the perspective that you could have by playing Hunter or seeing the multiple hunters you will see on the different brackets for PvP. I'm a PvPer, by the way, so obviously in PvE, Warlocks is going to be awesome, so people are not really going to complain about Warlocks right now, I think. Seed of Corruption is one of the big things. Like, if you do like dungeons, I think it's like pretty fun to do so. But in PvP, people complain about damage at lower levels for Warlocks. At higher level, I hear no one complain, actually. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's something that you can really add to the perspective part. It's very strong, right? If your perspective is like, I struggled 10-19, I struggled 20-29, I struggled 30-39 in damage, and I cannot kill anyone, or like, I cannot like burst someone down, because again, Hunter kills me with the pet, but I cannot kill with my dots, so I'm useless. Well, for me, Warlock at 10-19, 20-29, and even 30-39, you're like either a soak machine because you have Void Walker out, or like you are playing Soul Link in 30-39, or you have interesting spell power, so your dots actually hurts a lot. Your Drain Soul, when you're able to do a full Drain Soul with full row of dots, actually is seen as a nuke. It actually does a lot of damage, does more damage than Shadow Bolt spamming, which is crazy. And that's like if you get a new rank, every single time you get a new rank of Drain Soul, it actually nukes people. But people like have a different conception about Warlock because they think, oh, early game I'm really bad, so I will be really bad at like late game, which is like level 60, which I think level 60 Warlock is like disgusting. Like it's really strong. You have Souling, Siphon Life, which is SLSL, or Siphon Life Souling. The like doesn't matter how you say this. It's like super available. Level 60, you have the gear that is also going to be helping you with that. With PvP gearing, also reducing the damage like taken, plus your souling, plus the availability of draining the life by putting multiple dots. In BGs, you have multitude of targets where you can actually like siphon life, and you will be a drain tank pretty much. While with the availability of SLSL, you could also think, oh, Destruction Warlock could also be very interesting, in which you can have Destruction Warlock with Nightfall. So you have a multitude of like instant proc Shadow Bolts, which, as you may know, once you have the spell power for it, it's like a little nuke machine. Or if you have like crits, it's really interesting to play around it. I have multitude of quests here, so I need to be thinking. First time I'm doing Undead on Project Epoch, so I wonder what's new. But that's like something I really like about Warlock. Like I think you have multitude of like playstyles, even UA. I think at level 44 it actually hurts. I think people like don't realize how much damage it can do, and it is what it is. People like very much complain with their perspective, and they say, oh man, I wish I was a hunter with my pet like soloing people, while they don't think about like the scaling that Warlock has with damage and spell power and ranks. And I want to actually like play Warlock to contradict a lot of the people that are playing like Warlock and saying that they're complaining about Warlocks being bad, which I find Warlocks to be very strong. So that's something I want to do, like literally say, ha, gotcha. Or maybe I'm wrong. Like I could be wrong, although I don't think I'm wrong. I think Warlocks is really really good and very strong and very versatile. And even if your damage really sucks, you can always be there for the CC, especially in BGs. Like in arenas, I think it will be different. People will have a different perspective on it. But like in BGs, I don't understand how you can actually come to the conclusion of Warlocks being like not good. That's something I don't really understand. But that's like again, who am I to say that? Everyone can have like their own opinion. So yeah, that's maybe one of the bigger reasons why I want to play Warlock. Like I want to show you how it's done to be competing as a Warlock, and I think people don't realize how strong that class is with like the many bugs it has. I'm not saying it's not buggy. I'm not saying like it's a easy class to play, because I think the difference between a very good Warlock and a very bad one is like a very big gap. While for example a very good hunter and a very bad hunter, like at lower level, doesn't really show. You could be backpedaling, meleeing people, not even like doing ranged attacks, playing like you're playing Turtle Wow, trying to melee people with Raptor Strikes, and still eliminate people because you have your pet being like very strong and very sturdy and very fast and mobile. At later levels, it doesn't feel like that. That's the truth. I don't really think Hunter, like BM Hunter, is like that strong compared to how it is in early game. So my perspective has changed a lot by playing 40-49, and I think at 50-59 will be even more, and level 60 will also be even more, because you have I would say the gear to survive the pets. But that's something like again I might make a video about it and like reiterate multiple times. I'm kind of twinking my like alts, so I do send a few things from my little worker, for example, which is my shaman, or my druid, or I just buy it from the auction house for my warlock. So that those are the two classes I want to play, but I'm going to disconnect here. I'm going to show you what I actually did. So there is a lot of things that can actually change. So I made my rogue, I made a priest even, and I made a hunter. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the hunter is like my last resort. I don't really want to play hunter because I feel like this version of Hunter doesn't change too much, except the pets. It feels like you have more abilities, I think, on the pets. Maybe I'm wrong, but it feels like, again, the TPC and the scaling and how it is, that is the interesting part. But I think the Hunter itself, yeah, there is not much that changes, except, for example, on the marksmanship tree, you have silencing shot way sooner and true shot being later. So it is interesting to play around that. I think Survival Hunter doesn't change too much. Obviously, being able to like trap in combat and whatnot, again, that's not vanilla, that's not really classic, but it's like an interesting thing. So you don't need to feign death trap, so that's like a good quality of life change. But it doesn't feel like you have too many changes. Like a lot of the changes for hunters are like quality of life changes or pet changes, and that's something like, do I want to play again Hunter? I played it in Anniversary. I played it as well on 2019 throughout Wrath. Then I stopped, came back on my Hunter on Cataclysm, and even on retail I play Hunter as well. I made multitude of guys on my primary channel about that. Like Hunter, Shaman, and Warlocks are my three main classes, and also my Druid. But my Druid would be a bit more on the classic realms and not really on my retail realms, for example. So I don't know if I really want to go back to Hunter. I feel like I play the same, except if it's a bit more buggy, obviously, because it's a private server that still needs a lot of like the dev job. It's not a done server. It still needs to evolve into the final product. Well, Priest, it's interesting because I think if I would be playing Priest, it would be like Smite Priest or like Holy Priest with damage pretty much. Because they did multitude of changes. So you also have racial knowledge, so you could also swap your racial knowledge priests spell. So you could go Star Shards as a undead if you want to. You could go like, it's not smite, it's penance. It's called penitence or penance from Tauron, which is not the same spell as penance from Wrath. But you put a like, you do an attack, it does AoE dot damage. Like I think pulsing. Which is fun, I think. You have the Gnome, which is a buff to Intellect and Spirit. You have also like a mana regen on Gnome, which is also interesting. Troll is still like as interesting as well with the Shadow Guard, which is very fun as well. If they're hitting you, they do a lot of damage. You could go also Shadow Priest with Vampiric Touch, although dots are not critting, so is it that interesting? Like I made multitude of videos like explaining class per class the things that are exciting to me or not. Priest, there is something to me like, why not play Priest? You played on Classic, which was bland. Shadow Priest on Classic is very bland. While here, even though it's still TPC Shadow Priest, you get Shadow or Death. You get obviously your Mind Bender or Shadow Fiend, excuse me, Shadow Fiend. You get your obviously your Vampiric Touch. You have the talent trees, which are a bit more interesting. You have pain suppression very high on the tree as well, so you could go like tri-spec, which is also a fun spec to play in PvP. But I don't know if I really want to play Priest. And the one big what if is like Rogue. Like, do I want to maybe like scrap Druid or Warlock and play like a scummy Rogue where I'm like going to gank a lot of people in open world, trying to PvP and literally PvP and level through only PvP and do dungeons for gear, for example, like doing Dead Mines, why not? Could be fun. But like trying to PvP the whole way through, if I'm like level 30, I wouldn't go PGs, but I would go to Hillsbrad, gank a lot, and try to survive the ganks. I think that could be fun, although I've heard that it's very buggy. I don't know if I really want to deal with the bugs, even though I still think Rogue might be fun because you have Shadow Cloak. Yeah, you have Cloak of Shadows, excuse me. You have the possibilities to have Shadow Step as well. So that could be interesting in a classic world to have Shadow Step. Like, that's very mobile compared to other specs. So there is also like a little voice in me like play Rogue. But like the main idea is to either play Warlock or Druid. My Druid is also like level 6, so I basically played those two to level 6. Might play those two to level 10, so at least I have PvP unlocked. I don't know if I'm going to play PvP at level 10. I think I will be waiting to level 15 to do that, or level 14 to do that. so I can buy the trinket and whatnot. But I think the truth is, like, I already have a hybrid, which is my shaman. Obviously, like right now it's enhanced, but I think I'm going to go to elemental shaman. There's also, like I said, rogue, the one I have not created, which is my bank, but it's a warrior. The reason that I didn't roll or go with warrior is basically that I don't want to get victimized in open world. I did get a few times getting camped and ganked multiple times, and that is what it is. It is an open world PvP server, so getting camped can happen. But it feels especially bad on a warrior when, for example, my shaman, even if I'm getting camped, I can get away with Ghost Wolf and I can come back with like a big one shot somehow, some way. Or I'm a bit more sturdy. I can like self-suffice a bit easier, especially at lower levels. But warrior from 1 to 30 might be the worst experience you can have in open world PvP, because like hunters like untouchable, very much untouchable, and I don't want to deal with that. I don't know if I want to deal with that. But warrior leveling is, in my opinion, not that hard, because you can literally live in dungeons if you want to. Be the tank that you always has be like should be as a warrior. Like personally, if you don't tank as a warrior, you're useless in my group. That's how I see. Until level 60, you don't have the rage to self-sustain the damage, so you have to tank to get the rage. And they fixed the rage regen, so there's no reason for you to not tank. So I would be tanking as a warrior, so it would be easier to find groups. The thing that I really hate on my shaman is like the tank shortage is really, really present. Healing, it is present, but most of the time I heal because I just want to like get the group going. But tanks, like I cannot tank as a shaman, but druid and warrior can. So that's something I'm thinking, like I could play warrior, I could have fun, and they have Blaze Storm. You can have Spell Reflect very soon, which is on a 10-second CD, which is like mind blowing. You have Intercept at level 30 or level 32, I don't remember. Like you have Berserk stance, and then I don't know if you get Intercept directly or if it's at level 32. I don't remember that. You have great weapon progression. I could go Blacksmith, literally get the best weapon possible for myself. So that's something I'm thinking about. But I'm enjoying Warlock. I'm enjoying Druid. I'm enjoying Warrior. I'm enjoying Rogue. And that's the eternal life of alcoholism. So that's not really good. I don't drink. So I don't drink alcohol. And the only thing I am addicted to when I'm playing World of Warcraft is actually like re-rolling, which kind of sucks. I wish I could just stick to one main. But I love like tasting different POVs. Like I hate maining only one, because then the conversations are always like this class is OP without like really like understanding why it's OP, or trying to see the POV from the other side. Which that's why when people talk about dots for Warlocks, my POV is like I played Classic back in the day. I played TBC. I played Warlock in RAF. I played a lot of PvP, but because even in TBC or in like Classic, I did twink Warlock as well. So I know that even though when you're twinking, you're not doing nearly as much damage as a rogue or a hunter twink could, but your role as a Warlock was always like CCing people and trying to be annoying with like multi-dotting or like doing Bane of, like it's called Bane of Exhaustion I think on this server, but Curse of Exhaustion, for example. You put it on everyone is slowed, and then you CC everyone, and you do like a bit of damage with dots, and you are often top of the majors, but spread out on multiple targets, so obviously it's not as meaningful. But that was always Warlock for me. So when people talk about Warlock, it feels like a lot of people don't realize how it works and how spell power works and how spell ranks work. So it's a bit of a frustrating revenge kind of arc I am when I'm playing Warlock. So that's maybe the thing that makes me and wants me to play Warlock. I think free mount at level 40 is also awesome. Like I'm still mountless on my shaman, although that's a choice. I don't want to spend 90 gold right now, because like I'm still like trying to play the auction house game. So I kind of need the money to be able to do that. So yeah, that's pretty much the video. and my plans on like characters I'm playing. Obviously, I think people like did vote for Druid. I don't know if they really want me to play Druid. That's like again community post. Everyone can really choose whatever they want to choose. But I decided to play at least 2 more with my shaman. What I'm doing with my shaman is like waiting for the blue bar to go up and do a Zulfa rock to get like 48 or 49, and do BGs to get to level 50, and then it's like previous grind and whatnot. So I'm going to do that as well. But like I'm taking my time. A lot of my friends are still lower level than me, so I can like wait till they're like 50, 46, 45, and then do dungeons with them and have fun with them. So I don't need to be level 62 fast, because like I don't want to wait for queues for BGs. I don't want to wait for dungeons. There's no raids out. There is no season 1 out. So for me, I'm taking my time, and I'll enjoy playing like multitude of classes while everyone is still lower level. Like I still want to do like lower level BGs, even though hunters are like very oppressive. I think it's still fun to do. So that's pretty much my objective. Even if I'm rogue, I'm still going to do BGs at level 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and the same for like if I was a warrior. So that's pretty much my playstyle and how I have fun on this server. I think leveling through BGs and PvP is like the most fun thing I have done on this server. Like I think Project Epoch just nailed that and just like hooked me, and that's something I'm really grateful to them. Like I think Turtle WoW just didn't do it for me, while Project Epoch really like checks every single box. So that's a good thing. Again, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.